My name is Cauy.
And my name is Harrison.
And we're just two gay Native Americans living in Arizona.
I'm a filmmaker.
And I'm an upcoming makeup artist.
And we both have a love for cinema.
Come join us as we discuss new and old movies.
Welcome to Two Spirit Movie Review. Hello, welcome back to Two Spirit Movie Reviews. My name is Harrison.
My name is Cauy.
And tonight we are discussing scary stories to tell in the dark. It's 1968 in America. Change is blowing in the wind, but seemingly far removed from the unrest in the cities is the small town of Mill Valley, where for generations the shadow of the Bellows family has loomed large. It is in their mansion on the edge of town that Sarah, a young girl with horrible secrets, turned her tortured life into a series of scary stories. Written in a book that has transcended time, stories that have a way of becoming all too real for a group of teenagers who discover Sarah's terrifying tome.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Scary stories to tell in the dark. You were not cool in elementary school if you hadn't read these books.
I know. I was first introduced to the books I was in third grade. Yeah, I was in third grade, and I remember I went to a Scholastic book fair at my school.
Oh, I miss those.
And I remember I went with my sister, and as a kid, I really gravitated towards R.L. Stine books, Christopher Pike, teen horror, even as a fucking little kid. Okay, so I was reading since the age of since sixth grade. Not sixth grade, the fuck? First grade, dumbass.
Girl.
Oh my god. And then I started getting some more of like chapter books. Like, I guess I loved to read as a kid. So that's the reason why I was at this fucking Scholastic book fair as a kid. And so since my sister knows that I love these type of books, so she told me, I found a book that you would like, and at the Scholastic book fair, I still remember that you can take one book home for free. And this happened to be in a pile, and she gave it to me, and just write in bold letters, the first fucking two words I seen was scary stories. And I was like, oh my god, okay. So as a kid, she was like, she took that home. Excuse me, I just burped. We'll cut that out. And
I'm gonna keep it in now.
I read the book as a kid, and this type of book scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. You know, for me, it was kind of, I mean, I experienced the book in a similar fashion. I remember seeing it on the shelves at a Scholastic book fair. I fucking miss those.
I know. Those are the bomb.
There was just something so special about books being brought to you and presented in that way. Like, whoa, what the fuck? I want all of these, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, the one book that stuck out to me, I mean, because I think we both share a love for horror.
Yeah.
And this book caught everyone's attention. I mean, you know, the fucking Stephen Gamble illustrations is what stuck with me the most.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is why I think, and we'll get into this, which is why I think the creature's design is what stood out to me most in this movie. Honestly, if I'm being truly honest, I read all three of them, all three books.
I read all three, yes. Too.
But I can't for the life of me remember the words. What stuck with me most were the illustrations, and that will probably be said by anyone, really.
Yeah.
Because the illustrations are grotesque and disturbing, yet somehow equally alluring and beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, like, I remember just reading it, but I remember just looking longer at these illustrations, you know, because they were right out of a nightmare. But it was like a nightmare you wanted to have.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So, legendary book, trilogy of books, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. What was it? More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? And I forget what the third one was.
I forgot, but I know. Yeah, I don't remember the third book title.
Yeah. Even More Scary? No, that doesn't sound
I think it was Even More.
Was it really?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe.
Well, regardless, 3 books, 3 legendary books, and in my research, you know, I actually found out something fairly interesting.
What?
I didn't know how old these books were. The first one was published in 1981, 81, 1984 was the second book, and 1991 was the third book.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
they were much older than that, but
Oh no! Oh really? I thought that was old for me. But you know what's really interesting, and we're actually going to get into this too, is that Goosebumps.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Goosebumps came out in what, in the 1990s?
1993, after Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So now you gotta wonder. Like at first, I thought Goosebumps came out first because I
Yeah.
thought that these books were like released in the 90s. That's why I thought, oh, they're that old.
Yeah.
So it was all like, but Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark came out first, and then Goosebumps. So it's like now you gotta wonder, did Alvin Schwartz, the writer of the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books, inspire R.L. Stein? Because I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, you're sorry. All my R.L. Stein fans out there, this did not inspire R.L. Stein.
Really? Because
Yeah.
again, if it's one series of books I haven't read, it's the Goosebumps books. But just based on the research, the first R.L. Stein book to come out was in 1993, and that was Welcome to Dead House. So it's like, did R.L. Stein do books before Goosebumps?
Yeah.
He did?
Yes.
Okay. See, I did not know that.
He started off doing comedy.
Comedy?
Yeah, he was writing comedy books, comedy short stories.
Oh, okay.
And then he was inspired to start writing horror, and horror just, it boosted his career, and that's how he basically got rich.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right. See, I didn't know that. I mean, honestly, all authors are unknown to me unless it's like Tolkien or George R.R. Martin,
Mm-hmm.
But I never knew much about R.L. Stein. In fact, I don't even know what R.L. Stein stands for.
Robert Lawrence Stein.
That's his real name?
Yeah, Robert
Oh, okay.
Lawrence Stein. Yeah.
See, I would have, for some reason, it could have been a woman's name for all I knew,
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I mean, not that I'm unfamiliar with it, obviously just based off, also seeing Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark in the book fair, you could also see the Goosebumps books, and that's what I remember sticking with me too.
Yeah.
Were all those awesome, really retro, well, not retro because at the time they were what they were, but just the way the book covers looked,
Yeah.
So they weren't foreign, they weren't unknown to me, but I actually have not, even to this day, read anything by R.L. Stein.
Oh yeah. I was a big fan of him. I read his Goosebumps. I read his adult books, and I also read his teen fiction. Oh yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
Fear Street. I don't know.
No, I remember that, but I seem to vaguely just remember watching a few episodes of the Goosebumps TV show.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I think I'm no expert because I forget, but I do remember the theme song, dun 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 dun, So it's like, okay, I'm aware of it that much, But
The part with the dog.
and is it kind of like the scissor sound effect I'm remembering, isn't it? Kind of like.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But yeah, no, I just figured we couldn't really talk about Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and not talk about Goosebumps. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So very, very nostalgic.
Yeah. Lovely, beloved books, still selling today on bookshelves. So they're just legendary by that aspect alone.
This
So
movie's gonna revamp the sales of the books again.
oh god,
all
yeah.
over.
I want to go buy a physical copy of this book because of this movie now.
I had I remember I told my sister that I wanted the other two books again. I wanted my sister. I told my sister I wanted the other two sequels to the book, and she ended up getting me the trilogy all in one book.
Oh right, see that's what I want to
Yeah.
get now.
So that one was very nice, and
Yeah.
I got spooked.
But all right, let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about the plot, I guess. And it's funny because now, the same as it is with the books, now we can't talk about scary stories to tell in the dark without talking about the Goosebumps movie. Because essentially, Scary Stories the movie is Goosebumps the movie, except done way better. Because Goosebumps the movie. R.L. Stein's books are real. When someone unleashes them, those books come to life in the real world.
Yeah.
Scary stories to tell in the dark. Done a little bit differently. Alvin Schwartz isn't in this movie, but the same concept. You know, these stories come to life in the real world.
Yeah.
Goosebumps, obviously rated PG, meant more for children. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the movie, rated PG-13, and way more scarier and darker, but still kind of holding back.
Yeah.
You know, it's meant to be fun, scary. You know, like 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, no, you can't really talk about that without talking about Goosebumps. I feel they're kind of, unfortunately, kind of bound together because they're just literary classics amongst young adults. Like, you know, young kids. But essentially, so you know the books more than I do. Sarah Bellows, was that a character in the books? Or was that a creation for the movie?
It was a creation for the movie.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought.
I think it was.
Yeah,
because I don't remember
Yeah.
Sarah Bellows at all. I just remember once you just open the books, it was just automatic a story just right there.
Yeah, and you know that's a way they could have gone with it. That's the way they could have made like a creep show, kind of like an anthology film of like short films based on each individual story, you know. But I'm actually kind of glad they did what they did, because it's a much more unique approach to the source material, where it could have just been like, these are scary stories to tell in the dark, you know, these are scary movies to watch in the dark, you know, like a creep show thing. But I'm kind of glad they did what they did. I was actually kind of surprised, and I think I should have known better from the trailers, but the movie's set in 1968. So you already have like the interesting political climate of that era. You know, Nixon was going to be elected president. You know, the Vietnam War. You know, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on aside from the horror aspect. And obviously, you got director, what was his name? Director Andre Overdahl, who is responsible for other horror, I think, future horror classics, but Troll Hunter. You remember that?
No, I don't.
It's like a found footage movie. It's really good. And we just watched this recently, I think before I moved out of my apartment, but The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just found that out tonight during my research.
That was good.
Because I was like, okay, who's this visionary director, Andre Overdahl? And I'm like, oh, that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not only do you have a very, very good director, we also have legendary film director Guillermo del Toro producing it, you know. So you get Guillermo del Toro, Andre Overdahl, combined with Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, you know you're going to get a great movie.
Yeah.
Great looking movie, you know. So I guess, plot-wise, that's pretty much it, really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Monsters come to life. Booyah. Have fun, get scared. So, what I want to talk about, I think even before we talk about cast, even if there is anything to talk about the cast, is going to be the creature design.
Oh, yeah.
The creature design. So, what characters did they use from the books? I know there was the Where's My Big Toe guy.
Yeah. There was,
Harold the Scarecrow.
Harold, there was the Dream, that weird looking white
like the big lady?
Yeah, the white big lady, yeah.
Okay.
You have that one.
And the Jangly Man, right?
I think it was
the Hoti Maito D, whatever. I forgot how that.
No, he's Mitai Doti Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
They call him the Jangly Man.
Yeah, but in the story though, he didn't have a name.
Yeah.
It's because oh,
and the spiders.
But the thing is in that, oh well, we'll talk about the stories later.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have those four. Actually those four. Yeah, actually five actually.
Yeah, and we'll get into the spiders, but what I want to talk about is going to be the main four. The I guess the fat lady, the Harold, the Scarecrow, the Jangly Man, which they gave him the character name, and who the fuck was that? Oh, the missing toe woman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So first of all, what I love about this movie is And I expected nothing less from Guillermo del Toro, but for as much as they could have, they went with a very practical approach. These were actors in prosthetics bringing these creatures to life. And one of them is legendary actor Javier Botet, which you've definitely seen his work even if you didn't know him. He's responsible for the that character from It, the one who scared the kid with the fear of germs.
Oh, is it the painting?
No, he actually, I would believe him if he was in that too, but and I'm pretty sure he did because he looks like him.
Yeah.
But that would have been the one who's all diseased in front of the house. Remember that guy? You know?
No, I don't remember that part. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's very brief, but it's in that.
But I know the boy that's like scared of germs and everything like that.
Yeah. Also, the main villain from Insidious, The Last Key. You know, the key fingers, you know?
That's the only Insidious movie I've never watched.
Oh, don't worry, you're not missing out.
Okay, good.
He played the main alien in Alien Covenant because he has a body figure for it. He played the Crooked Man in The Conjuring 2. Which believe it or not, which up till I saw raw footage of it, which I thought was a completely digital character.
I know, that's what I thought too.
That was a person in a costume in prosthetics.
Wow.
That is wild, right?
Yeah.
He also played the titular role of Mama in Mama.
Oh, okay. I remember that part.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, she goes into the kitchen or something.
Yeah. And also, of course, the possessed lady in the top apartment in Record.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's been around for a hot minute. He's a very legendary character actor, probably on par with Doug Jones, who you know as, Abe Sapien from Hellboy, the creature from The Shape of Water, Pan from Pan's Labyrinth. So he's up there. He's that guy. He has such a unique kind of body figure. He's very tall, very skinny. I think he's like 7 feet tall, and he's like bone thin, and he just creates all these weird, really elegant, creepy, disturbing movements, as you may have seen already. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, these are creatures that are played by real people in costumes. And of course, who none other than Spectral Motion to bring all those characters to life. And they were responsible for movies like Hellboy, X-Men First Class, Attack the Block, and Blade. So, they obviously have a nice history of prosthetic work. And honestly, that's the highlight of this movie, is going to be these creature designs. And before we started this, I watched that little kind of 7-minute clip about the makeup effects of this movie, and they went into great care and loving detail to recreate these characters from the book. So much that they traced over the actual designs from the book to make sure every crease or line was on the character in the movie. So that's why I think the highlight of this movie is going to be these characters, because remember, like I said in the beginning, the one thing I remember from the books are the illustrations. So that's what really sticks out to me here in a positive light, is going to be these creatures. And honestly, my favorite was the Jangly Man.
Actually, it did take on its own twist in the movie, because for a fact, I know that I never knew how the toe missing lady looked like, because in the book illustration it just shows a big toe.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, the one who's missing the toe is that one character without the eye, like.
Yeah, that's the one that, because, and then the Mitai Doti Walker story, it only have a picture of a severed head.
Yeah.
But the dream with the big fat girl, that one fucking looked a lot like her, really like her. That one was, I like how it had its own twist, because in that.
We'll get into that later. Well, that might be a spoiler, maybe. Yeah, that'll probably fall into the spoiler talk on this review, and we'll go over that. Okay. I know there's a lot of things I want to say about that too. So, but basically, what I'm trying to say here is that excellent makeup work all around.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt this would kind of get any notice from the Academy, but it'd be kind of a surprise if they did, because a lot of care, a lot of love, and a lot of work went into making these characters look exactly like their book counterparts. So, yeah. Alright, so from here on out, we're going to be talking spoilers about Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, so you have been warned. This is your first warning. So if you listen to this, you are a
dumb bitch.
Dumb bitch. So the spoilers that we want to talk about is going to be kind of like the inspiration, not the inspiration, more like the characters kind of, how would you explain it? Each character sort of has a story that's automatically written for them.
Oh, it tells that in the trailer anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then, not spoilers yet, but this will eventually segue into spoilers, and we'll give you a second warning, okay? But the Sarah Bellows book starts automatically writing stories for characters to experience scary things, and happens part in with the characters, the creatures.
Yeah.
The first being Harold the Scarecrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which was fine. I thought he looked great. Looked almost exactly like the book.
Yeah.
You know, so as the stories get written, you notice that these books write themselves according to what that character kind of fears the most, in a way. You know, kind of uses their own fear against them. The one character of the sister, you know, worrying about the way she looks beauty-wise, and then having her have the red spot story, you know.
Yeah.
But what I think gets into the spoilers, for me at least, is going to be the character of
Sarah Bellows?
No, not Sarah Bellows. The Mexican Ramon. Because okay, spoiler. You've been warned twice now. This is a spoiler. That's the fourth time now. But the character of Ramon, who plays the Mexican, is a draft dodger. He doesn't want to go to the Vietnam War, and he's running away, which is why he ends up in this town and unexpectedly meets these characters.
Oh, he's daddy.
Oh, yes, he is very, very handsome.
Okay, back to
the story. But the one backstory he tells, which I felt fit in perfectly with the character of the Jangly Man, or as the book calls him, he might do what?
Mitai Dorothy Walker.
Yeah.
Dorothy Walker.
And so basically, the character's brother went to Vietnam, but he got sent back to the States in pieces. So in response to that, this character, this creature, comes into this story as body parts, rotting body parts that sort of form into a very jagged, backward walking, upside down creature, which they call the Jangly Man.
Yeah.
You know? And I thought that was so brilliant, because it takes in the era that it was taking place in 1968. You had the Vietnam War going on, you had family members dying, being blown to pieces, and now here's this grotesque monster representing that. And it was, again, just like the book, it was grossly disturbing and grotesque, but somehow alluring and beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
It's one of those weird fucked up things you just can't stop looking at.
There was another thing that I was going to talk about that. You just got me off guard.
Okay,
Damn it.
here. Give me the water then, and think about it. What was it about?
I totally forgot.
Really?
I forgot. I had it on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember it no more.
Was it about a creature?
It was about this. It was about the Michael character.
Michael
Garza. That's the guy who.
Oh, Ramon?
Mexican. Yeah. Damn it! I forgot.
The fact about the basement?
No.
His brother? Him faking?
That was okay, and that was his. I guess you could say that was his fear.
Was going to war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting sent back in pieces like how his brother did.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that I could say that was his fear.
Yeah.
So again, yeah, it does take on the fear of everything that they have in their own lives.
Yeah. which the fat lady was done kind of quite well, and I think we'll get into that too. But creature design wise, absolutely brilliant, and I like how it somehow kind of like misleads you too into thinking, oh, the red room, but then ends up being like the records room, you know?
Yeah.
But then when that creature makes her appearance, then all the lights go red. Now everything's the red room, you know? I thought that was great. That was brilliant. I think you can definitely tell where director Andre starts and where director Andre ends and producer Guillermo del Toro starts.
Yeah.
Because you just have to be so familiar with who Guillermo del Toro is as a filmmaker to know that, that's very Guillermo del Toro. Like, I don't know if you remember Hellboy, the second Hellboy, very well. Do you? Sort of. There's like this really creepy looking, like politician looking monster that the elf character meets before he meets his father. Do you remember that? Do you remember that character at all? No, but he kind of reminded me of the fat lady, just the way he looked and the long fingers and the skinny arms. I don't know. I'd have to show you a picture, but I think you could definitely see the resemblance. But Del Toro definitely has his stamp on this movie visually. Unfortunately, the direction is what really bugged me with this movie. And now, we talk about everything good about this movie, but now I want to talk about things that I didn't like about it.
Mm-hmm.
And while it is a decent movie, there's also a lot of things that didn't really fly with me.
Yeah, there were some parts too. I'm just like, okay, so this movie has its flaws.
Yeah, it definitely has its flaws.
Yeah.
And I guess I will kind of sound nitpicky, but for me, it was definitely like, it could have been done in a more different way,
I feel like it was rushed a little bit in the beginning.
I didn't mind the beginning so much. The beginning was fine for me. I guess, let's start. As all great stories should start, we'll still start at the beginning. Beginning-wise, it was all right for me. I think for me, it was kind of awkwardly trying to capture that feeling of, TV shows like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Where you have like a young cast being hip and fun and very like, there's a camaraderie between all of them, so I felt they didn't capture that very well. I don't know. I wasn't born in 1968. I don't know what people are like in 1968, but for me, these were like 2019 teenagers in 1968. For me, they didn't feel very period appropriate.
No. Actually, I thought it was perfect. Cause
really?
Like in the 1968 era, there was like a lot of, that was still the time when, in the movie, they're being racist towards Ramon by calling him, the racial slur for a Mexican.
Yeah.
And on Nixon too as well. Nixon's presidential poster, it had
a swastika.
A swastika of the
X. Yeah.
Yeah, and also they would be racist. Even the officer's racist. It's still back in the 1960s when colored people were still not accepted.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good take on that, and also just the bullies still being greasers.
Well, they weren't really greasers. They were jocks.
Like greaser jocks, because they still had the stereotypical driving in the
You know who I was thinking about? I was thinking of like that character, if he had died a different way, was totally the Torn Prince from 13 Ghosts.
Oh, he kind of reminded me of that
yeah,
too.
Right?
Yeah, just thinking
and
about
the bat, the jacket, the Letterman jacket and everything.
his fast car.
Yeah.
But
that was just my take on it. That it just felt kind of like I feel that they didn't really do the characters well in that sense.
What didn't really stand out? Well, the thing that I felt it was rushed. So I felt like 20 minutes. To me, I felt like 20 minutes in, they're like, they have the book.
Yeah. Which is funny because this movie was almost 4 minutes shy of 2 hours. It was 116 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. Like, it felt too rushed in the beginning. Like, I had the whole background, I guess, of each character. And then, I kind of felt like it was the chemistry between the children, or I guess the kids, the young adults. I don't know what the fuck you would call them, but they kind of reminded me of It a little bit, because, you know, in It, that boy that is very, like, he's cussing a lot. That kind of reminded me of the fat boy.
Yeah.
And I guess you would consider the tall guy the one that hates germs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would say it's kind of
Yeah, except I don't know, for me I felt there was that built-in camaraderie in It. For me, I don't know, it just didn't stick with me right. Like, I feel that they did the unfortunate thing of casting 20-somethings to play 15-somethings, you know? And again, that's being really, really nitpicky. And unfortunately, I think it just comes with the other two Caucasian actors. I thought the female, the girl actor was great. I thought the Mexican was great, because, you know, they were kind of like rooting for them to be together. So for me, it was just, I don't know, the two other characters were so, just didn't hit right with me, and I can't really explain why. But yeah, that's just me, I guess. I fucking hated the jock.
I did too.
Yeah, he got what he fucking deserved. Oh, but you know, I think that just came down to like probably a Del Toro thing, because again they used the Mexican racial slur against them, and that sort of already sets you up for hating this character. So the fact that he got his comeuppance early on was great. Yeah, and you know, aside from that, I think everything between there and the everything up until the fat lady, I think, was great. For me, there's only one thing I had a problem with the fat lady introduction, in that they revealed her too soon, because there was like a mystery behind who she was. You know, like if you didn't know what she looked like based from the books, then it would have been a surprise to just see this creepy looking fat lady walking towards you slowly. But they did this really blaring close-up of the character that like went from her like feet all the way to her face, so you saw what it looked like up front. And I felt, for me, that kind of took away from like the slow reveal of her getting closer and closer and closer and closer to you.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know why that just didn't sit well with me. You know, again, that could just be me being nitpicky, but you know, like I said, it's kind of like those things where, you know, it's a great movie, but it does have its flaws, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Just, again, great character design, but just the fact that they revealed it too soon is what kind of ruined it for me. Because imagine if they cut that close-up of the fat lady out. You just, the details of this character start coming closer and closer, and you don't see the details until she comes closer to you.
Yeah.
You know, I just felt that would have been a little bit more effective had they not revealed the character too soon. So, but yeah, no, in regards to the scares, obviously this is more kind of young adult audience. Like, I really don't think anyone under 12 would probably sit through this movie because of how scary it is. Like, I feel that this movie is meant more for its adult readers who were kids as they read the book. I mean, obviously there's been scarier things, but I just feel this is almost a little bit too scary for kids to watch. So be wary of that. If you know your children are bold and love scary movies, then they'll like this, because a lot of the scares here are very well planned out. You know, I mean, they're not clever like James Wan, but they are definitely they take advantage of the silence of scenes.
Yeah.
So be wary of that. That's all, really. You know, you should know your kid. If your kid was laughing in The Conjuring, then he'll definitely be okay with this. But if he was scared shitless by the Slender Man, then yeah. He's not gonna like this. They're not gonna like this. But yeah, I think that concludes our review for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I thought this was a visually great movie. The creature designs are just as magical and spellbinding as the book illustrations. You know, they're disturbing, they're creepy, but they're just alluring and also just beautiful in a weird, dark, twisted way. For me, some of the characters didn't land well. I felt they were trying to emulate the camaraderie of like the characters in Stranger Things, which I feel they didn't really succeed. But I feel like the main character of the actress and the Mexican character were probably the best characters for me in the whole movie, just because I feel there was definitely some chemistry behind them, particularly with the girl, because she is someone that I definitely related to out of everyone. Both the characters have a love for horror. There was a lot of Bela Lugosi posters, a lot of, her herself has a love for the macabre. She knows of all the legends, the haunted house stories, and the fact that they bond over their kind of knowledge of Night of the Living Dead in the whole drive-in scene. It's there. That's probably why I like those characters the most, because I probably related to them the most. I feel that I would have really loved to have seen Guillermo del Toro direct this movie, but I understand why he produced it. But based off the behind-the-scenes stuff that I've seen, it looks like he basically did kind of direct it, because he was talking to a lot of the characters and the prosthetics and whatnot. So and that's not a plight against the director Andre Overdahl. He's done fantastic work with Troll Hunter. I loved The Autopsy of Jane Doe. So he was definitely the right choice for this. But this wasn't a perfect movie, but it's definitely like a passable movie for me. I think that you'll be entertained by it. I think that if you were a fan of the books, you'll definitely enjoy all these characters coming to life on the silver screen. I think you'll probably like it more than the guy who walked by us as the movie ended. Did you hear what that guy said?
What did he say?
He's like, wow, this was just a shitty fucking movie. Word for word. I shit you not.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think it was that bad of a movie. It was, for me, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. So, what about you? What did you think?
To me, the movie felt like it was very rushed in the beginning of how they just got the book so quick. As well with the creature designs and everything like that, the makeup, it was really good, looked realistic. And I seen the video too that Harrison showed me, that how they brought these to life on the camera. And also I really liked how it was including the story dialogue, or not the story dialogue, the scary stories, like some of the bits from it, like who took my toe?
Yeah, that was really good.
That one was really good, especially when, because I still remember some of the stories from the book, and how it was like being brought to life was actually very good. Like I liked it, but again, I felt like the dream girl, I wish they chose someone more scarier. That one was too.
The fat lady?
Yeah.
Oh.
That one was too. I feel like they shouldn't have included her character in there, because to me that one felt really cheesy. The first two monsters, like Harold and the Who Took My Toe corpse, those ones are done really good. Those ones scared me, but the fat lady, it didn't do nothing for me.
Yeah, because she's kind of just awkwardly like smiling.
Yeah, and
it was like It Follows, if we could see what it looked like.
It was just like, okay, like it's kind of funny at this point.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like, I think it would have been disturbing not to show too much of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And didn't you say like you had a problem with them not revealing too much about Sarah Bellows?
Yeah, because there was. I think this is gonna go into spoilers.
All right, you've been warned. Spoilers.
But in the so it didn't really talk about it. It really didn't talk much about why they placed her in the mental asylum. And this is the reason why, is because when they were listening to voice recordings, they were like, why did you poison those children? Like, where in the fuck does it mention the children that she poisoned and how?
See, now this makes me wonder, did they do that on purpose? Because just the way it ended, it's kind of like they planned for a sequel.
Yeah, see? Or it could just take another route and be like, oh, these guys wrongly, like, these guys purposely committed this girl to the mental asylum.
Yeah, I think that's what the movie was definitely kind of trying to play off of, that they were that the family was evil,
Yeah.
and they killed these children by poisoning them, and they placed the blame on her because she was trying to tell everyone that her family killed all these kids.
Yeah, but and like
You know?
and even in newspaper clippings too, they didn't talk nowhere in those newspaper clippings didn't mention anything about dead children. So at that point I was like, it didn't go into like they didn't really explain much about it. And again, I feel like that was for PG-13 type of shit, but it didn't really go into depth of Sarah Bellows' character at all. I don't know if she was deformed, but her ghost or something looked deformed to me.
Yeah, I think her character was an albino, because I remember them mentioning kind of something albino, that she was, because she was also locked away in the dark so much that she became very pale. So
Okay.
that could be it.
But yeah,
You
that's they didn't really tell much about her. Again, the monsters, they were great. Everything about them was great. You get Harold. Harold's actually like, you know, he's a scarecrow. Shows his picture and his illustration in the book, so you'll get Harold's creepy detail on the screen, and also how he walks too. That part was good. But in the book, it's just more of like you envisioned him walking. But this one is actually like
Yeah.
kind of type of movement, you know.
I'd have made it
And-
be that bitch, but I think it's pronounced Harold.
Well, we all have our ways of saying it.
Okay,
But-
Harold.
And and then the ghost corpse with the broken toe or the missing toe. I liked how they included that skinny actor.
Yeah, Javier
Um,
Botet.
I like how they included him because in the story they didn't really go in. They didn't. And there was no illustrations about how this person looked like. It just had a fucking toe as the illustration. That was all. So that one they didn't really. So you can actually get a little creep moment about that. The fat girl. That one wasn't fucking with it for me.
Actually,
I mean,
it's played by a guy.
but that one wasn't really it for me. That one was kind of cheesy for me. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess you can just put a awkward fat lady happily smiling walking towards you, like, like I don't know, something like that. And I forgot the other one, the me Tai Doti Walker
Yeah, the
guy.
jangly.
That
guy.
That one was good. Yeah. I
Yeah,
like
that one was my visually most favorite, because it was a dancer who was like on Dancing with the Stars or America's Got Talent or whatever, and his performance was more abstract, you know, just the way he would walk upside down, like, you know,
Yeah.
spider walk on his back, and he brought a lot of character to that. You know what that kind of reminded me of?
What?
When Pennywise was climbing out of that fridge in It. You know, just
Yeah.
kind of like a very circus-like motion.
That one
Yeah.
reminded me of The Unborn. It's
So I haven't seen that.
Okay, so if you guys watched The Unborn, it reminded me of The Unborn where there was a scene where a grandmother gets killed in The Unborn. And again, the grandmother looks down the hallway and she sees a guy walking like that, you know, like all on it, like just walking with its arms and legs on its back, kind of like that. And his face was upside down like it. So that one kind of brought back vibes of The Unborn. But that one, I like how they did their own little twist on that story, because in the book, the dog's head was supposed to fall in the fire pit.
I remember that now. I
And,
remember that.
So in that case, it was actually the body of the guy. That one was cool. And again, and then in that story too as well. Should I get into I'm gonna get into a spoiler about the cop.
All right, yeah. Spoilers
Okay.
for the cop.
So, and also in the cop gets his head twisted around, so the cop dies. But that pays a little homage to the story as well, because in that particular story, when the dog's head gets severed, they actually kill the guy's head too as well. Or they do the same thing to the guy
Okay.
in that story.
All right.
But this time they
See,
didn't take off his head. They just twisted his head around.
This really makes you just want to read the books again and remember it as an adult, not as a kid.
But yeah, this movie was a good one. I watched
So-
it again as for my own guilty pleasure of like
them bringing the stories to life,
Yeah.
basically. But I like how they added Sarah Bella's character, but I wish they got more into depth with her, because I really like the whole background of the whole dark magic. And again, with the dark magic type of stuff, like, what the
Yeah, I
fuck?
feel there's going to be a sequel that kind of delves more into that.
Maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
but it was just more of like,
Or
how the
or even a prequel, you know, because there
Yeah.
were already pre-written stories of getting rid of the other family members, you know.
Yeah.
I could see that being like a successful spin-off.
Ooh, that one's actually okay. So, and again, and all those stories that what they were reading before the book started writing itself, all those stories were actually the same names inside the book.
See what I mean?
Those were good. Yeah,
There's room for a sequel or a prequel.
yeah. I think that's,
Both.
maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it does. Because, you know, blockbuster season is over. The last big blockbuster, I feel, was last week with Hobbs and Shaw. So we got to see how August viewers will take this. And honestly, I think this movie would have done way better if it were released in October. Just because, you know, it takes place Halloween night and it's August right now. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel it would have taken a bit more, would have been more fun if it were released mid or end of October, but
Yeah. So with
whatever.
everything surrounding this movie, I give this movie a 6.
All right. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, same as Dora?
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay, I'll take that, I guess. I'm still sticking with my 7 out of 10 because, like I said, it wasn't a perfect movie, but it was a good movie.
Yeah.
So, but all right, that's it. That's scary stories to tell in the dark. Take your kids, not your young ones, but ones who like horror, who like to be scared. If you read the books, you'll definitely enjoy this movie.
Swear to Satan.
Whoa, I think I missed a reference.
Yeah.
But all right, that's been Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. My name is Harrison.
My name is Cauy.
And this has been Two Spirit Movie Reviews. I'm not even going to tell you what we're going to be reviewing next because I don't even know. I know there's the Peanut Butter Falcon, there's Brian Banks, there's Loose, there's The Art of Driving in the Rain. All of movies that I'm not really eager to see. Well, maybe the Peanut Butter Falcon, but...
Let's watch The Kitchen.
Oh, and The Kitchen. Wow, geez. There's 6 movies we gotta watch.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to promise because I've already been lying this whole time with new reviews that are coming out. But even then, we hope you'll join us next time for whatever movie we'll review next. So, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye. This has been Two Spirit Movie Reviews. If you love what you heard, like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. More platforms will be made available in the upcoming weeks. Thanks for listening.